Welcome to Left in the South, episode 20. What's up, Caleb?
We made it.
We made it, episode 20, dude. Fucking 20 episodes. We've been here since November 3rd, dude. And we're back with another banger, ready to record another one.
I feel like since November, like so much stuff has changed, you know? Like,
It really
do you think
fucking
in November
has, dude.
we ever would have predicted what's going on right now?
Honestly, like, with Corona and fucking, what's going on with fucking, the Dems and fucking what's going on in the world, I would never have predicted this shit.
No way. Like 5 months ago, I thought I'd be sitting here like with full Bernie Sanders as president, like, with my like 5 waifus, anime VR headset on.
Yeah, like
dick out.
Yeah, fucking, UBI fucking of 1500. You live in a rent free. Fuck.
I'm a very optimistic person. Man.
Fucking 5 months ago, we thought we were gonna be living in paradise, but apparently not.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. But no, it's the opposite. We're in hell.
Yeah, essentially, fucking, we're walking in the fucking burning lands, bro.
Yeah, we are. What is on the docket today, man? I have so much to talk about. I'm in a very heated mood right now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, before we fucking get into that shit, be sure to follow us on Twitter at The Litz Podcast. And, if you're listening to on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, Please.
Hell yeah.
I'm begging you.
Yeah, and go check out our clips. We're releasing them
yes.
far more regularly now than we were before.
Oh, fuck. I want to talk about that, too, before we get into that shit. But yeah, support us on YouTube and Patreon, of course, patreon.com/leftinthesouth. Go ahead and pledge us $1. I'm pretty sure I found 4 quarters, since we've last recorded. So
yeah, I've probably in my lifetime probably eaten more than 4 quarters on accident somehow.
Me on purpose.
Yeah, it's kind of my fetish actually. Have you ever actually eaten any like coins when you were a kid?
Yes, I actually have.
Yeah, I ate a dime when I was a kid.
Yeah, here's the story, really. So basically, like, I was a little kid. I was still living in New York, so I was like under 5. And I just went to my like parents' drawers and I like found like a penny or something. I'm like, all right, we're swallowing this, I guess. So I fucking swallowed it.
That's amazing, dude. Oh my god, dude, the mind of a child. You're just like, I found a penny. Yeah. I guess I'm gonna eat it now. Like,
I've done some dangerous ass shit. Like when me
you
and
could
my
actually
brother
die from that.
Literally, me and my brother, like, we played this fucking game where I would be on the top bunk and we would try to drop fucking coins into each other's fucking mouth, right?
No,
and my brother fucking swallowed a penny or something like that.
That is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. Because even if you fucking, like, if you miss, you can chip a fucking tooth or something. Or what if it hits you in the eye? Jesus, David. I cannot believe you made it.
We were dangerous fucking children, bro. Yeah, me too, dude. But I'm still fucking kicking it. For now, at least. But fuck yeah, dude. How you been doing, man?
I've been doing okay, man.
Beautiful 4 days since, like, we last recorded or something.
No, definitely. Yeah, like this week's been pretty good, pretty productive. A lot of schoolwork going on, but other than that, trying to stay sane, in this quarantine. You earlier before we started recording, you recommended a cool show for me to watch. I'm probably going to do that.
Yes.
Other than that, doing a lot of jerking off, a lot of anime watching, a lot of video games.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah.
I want to talk about like shit we've been doing during this quarantine, social distancing after we talked about all this fucking sad shit. Just to end on something a little more light. But
definitely.
Yeah, dude, fucking let's get into it, dude. Fucking Corona. We talk about Corona fucking every week now. Cause it's still here and we're probably gonna be talking about it for fucking weeks to come.
Yeah, for fucking years until our government decides that we're worthy of their support. So
goddamn, dude. Yeah, that stimulus bill, we were talking about it probably last episode, but it's finally been passed through the House and Senate.
Yep. So officially, if you are a non-dependent 18-year-old or older who filed taxes in 2018 or 2019, who also makes under $95,000 a year, you will be receiving a lovely crisp check from the government. Now, if you may be thinking to yourself, that sounds like a lot of weird fucking like requirements. Yeah, you're not wrong, and you're totally 100% correct, because this bill that was supposed to be made to basically alleviate the fucking economic stress that this nation is under right now, it was 800 and something pages long of fucking text talking about who deserves it and who doesn't deserve it,
Yeah, that's
which
crazy.
brown people don't get it, which brown people do get it, why young people shouldn't get it or should get less. It's just the most absurd, means tested, austerity fucking garbage bill that has ever been made. And the fact that the Dems are not making more of a stink about it really should show you whose fucking side they're on. And like, I'm aware, and
I mean,
I
Dems were getting
understand.
shit on like when they denied the first time, right? They're like,
Yeah,
they're being uncrossed. It's the Dems' fault that we're not getting any help right now. It's like,
yeah. It's
fuck
true.
off.
It's true that they're, but that's the thing. You have to have the fucking resolve to fight against that. That's literally their
Yeah,
job.
it's like the hardest
It's
thing to do. Like we need more than fucking breadcrumbs. You know, we
exactly.
need
It's
more
like,
than scraps.
it's not ideal that you have to vote no on a bill that you know would at least help some people. But the point is that the bill does not help everyone. I want to talk a little bit about my own personal experience right now, because this today, I just found this out today, and I'm extremely upset and angry about it. The bill applies, it does not apply to dependents. So what that means is basically, if your parents have claimed you on their taxes, whether that means you're below 18 or sorry, below 19, or a full-time student up to the age of 24, you are automatically disqualified from receiving the benefit. Which means that even if you're, let's say, like me, someone who lost their job because of the virus, or quit their job, can't work because they're high risk, regardless of what the scenario is, if your parents claimed you as dependent, you automatically don't deserve it. You don't get anything. The government decided that you're not worth it. You don't get any money. So yeah, that's cool. So my bills are coming up next month, and I wasn't relying on this check at all, but I lost my job and I don't have money. So basically, my only options are now to take out thousands of dollars in student loans to cover my expenses. Because here's the ultimate fucking kicker, David. You know how, like, if you're under 18, you get your parents will get like $500 for
Yeah,
you, right?
yeah.
But the way that it works, because of the language of the bill, if you're over 18 or over 17, so if you're 18 or older, you don't receive, or you would normally receive the $1,200 check because you would be filing independently, right?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't make sense to give your parents $500 and you $1,200, because it would double up on that, and that doesn't make sense. So what they did was basically say, if you're a dependent, you get 500, but they did not account for the fact that some people who are dependents are over the age of 18, like full-time college students. So basically, if you're over 18 but also a college student, you're automatically disqualified. Does not matter what your income
So
is,
you're
doesn't matter what
getting
your parents'
zero.
income are. I'm getting zero. Yes, I'm getting zero.
Jeez.
You're probably getting zero.
Yeah, I'm probably not
Everyone I
getting
know
nothing.
is getting zero. And like, who do you know that is more fucking broke and desolate than a college student? On top of the fact that we're all losing our jobs, we're all being forced to go home from campus because we're not allowed to stay here anymore because of the virus. So we're all being displaced. We're all losing our jobs. We're all losing our income. And then on top of that, our parents don't even get $500 for having us as dependents, which they normally would because we're over 17. So we totally just got left out to fucking dry. Millions of people don't get shit from this bill. It does not help us at all. I am so
Yeah,
unbelievably
it's
angry
fucking
about that.
crazy. And corporates get $500 billion in slush funds,
Yep. Yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
so
And
insane.
this fucking small business subsidies, the fucking small business Mussolinis of this country that literally employ fucking no one, just get billions of fucking dollars. It's unbelievable that it's intentional. The cruelty is the fucking point. They know that these people exist. They know that people like me and you exist, and we need this money, and they chose not to give it to us on purpose. Fucking rats.
Yeah, I mean, everything that's going on is completely fucked. But at least we still got Bernie fighting in the Senate, bro, for like fucking, absolutely fucking going off. Have you seen that clip?
Yeah, no, I saw that. That was great. And like, that's kind of why I thought that I had a little bit of hope, like I let a glimmer of hope manifest in my fucking eyeball, like
A little glint in
like
your
if you
eye,
look,
a little
yeah,
shine.
seriously, there's a little shine in my eye. I'm like, things are shitty. Like, I lost my job. Like, I'm doing okay. Like, I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna be homeless. It's gonna be fine. I'm gonna be okay. And then I expected, for some fucking reason, naively, I was like, it actually looks like I might get this money, Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. The government might actually do something
that's
for
crazy.
me.
Like, man, I might actually be supported by the government. The government actually might have come in clutch here, but nope. Like, what did we expect?
No, they didn't.
What did we expect?
Exactly. Yeah, like, I want to talk a little bit about, like, the fact that this bill is over 800 pages long. Like, what is
true?
The
I wanted to like when it's we got a deal, we got a bipartisan deal going down. Like, I'm like, okay, let me read this shit, and it's like, wait, like, what is this bill about?
You need a fucking law degree just to read the goddamn bill. It should be one page. It should say every American over 18 receives a check of X amount. Every American below 18 who is a dependent receives X amount. It should just be one fucking page, like 10 sentences, bro. Because the point is like the point of austerity and means testing. That's why this shit is so complicated. It does not have to be complicated. That is the wonder of universal programs, is that you don't need 800 pages of a fucking bill to determine who deserves it, because everyone gets it. That's the benefit of the universal programs. You don't, like, some people don't fall through the cracks like college students did with this bill. Because you just say everyone gets it. Doesn't matter if you're a college student, if you're a fucking baby, doesn't matter. You get 500, you get 1,000, whatever the number is. It doesn't matter.
Still, even though, like,
they want to exclude us.
Yeah, like, even though, like, I mean, let's talk about the price. Only $1,200. Like, when I think about that number, I think about the Andrew Yang meme with the fucking, the guy, he putting whipped cream in the guy's fucking mouth, giving landlords an extra fucking grand a month, Yeah, because that's what most people can use that money for, is to give it to their fucking landlord.
Exactly. And what about the people that live in, like, New York, one of the places that is literally the most affected on planet Earth?
Yeah, it's not.
That's
not
one
enough.
fucking month, if even, of rent, only rent. And like these people have lost all of their income. We're not talking about just being able to afford rent. Like, these people need money to live on: food, water, fucking electricity, utilities. Like,
yeah, because
$1,200 does not cut it.
It's gonna be long. It's gonna be longer than a month. This isn't gonna blow over in a month.
Yeah, the latest projection that I've seen says that it's going to peak in about May or June. So, like, we're talking about, at a minimum, 3 months from now is the peak. So we haven't even reached the peak yet, and we're already fucking dying here and being bled dry. Our money is running out. Everyone's unemployed. It's insane. And we're not even close. We're 3 months out from the highest projected amount that we're going to be seeing. So I'm really curious.
Record high rates of unemployment.
Yeah, like, some economists are saying up to 30%.
Yeah.
30%, David. That is insane.
Oh, fuck. People weren't fucking kidding when they're like, all right, the 20s, dude, Great Depression's coming back, man.
Yeah, this is the Roaring 20s part 2, man. I wanted to, like, clarify another thing, too. I wish I could ask. And, like, again, I can't fucking tell you. I don't know the answer to this because I haven't read the bill, and I'm not going to, because I'm not going to subject myself to reading 800 fucking pages of bullshit. So I have no idea what the answer to this question is, but an interesting question that I have today after hearing the news about the rent or the fucking stimulus checks, I'm wondering about rent in general. Like, the fact that our government has not frozen rent payments is a mistake, obviously.
Rent. Unify your tenants, bro.
But, like, you remember how Trump said, and, like, the DOJ said basically that evicting people during this crisis is not allowed, right? So, like, in theory, we shouldn't be able to get evicted. But my question is, 6 months from now, or like let's say a year from now, even, like, let's say 1 year from today, coronavirus is a recent memory, and, we're over it. Like, people are still getting it, but the bulk of the problem is gone. Yeah. In 1 year, on March 28th, 2021, am I gonna owe the months from now until then in rent that I couldn't afford? Am I gonna have to pay that back? Because if that's the case, all of these people that are missing their rent payments, it doesn't matter about this $1,200 check, because, okay, yeah, cool, that's 1 month, maybe 2 if you live in a low income housing area. Okay, so that's 2 months. What about 6 months from now? What about those other 4 months where you're still unemployed and you can't afford rent? Does that mean that in May of next year, you're going to have to pay those 4 months back to your landlord? Where the fuck am I going to get that money from?
Fuck off.
Because even if I were employed, I would not be able to afford that amount of rent. That would be insane. It would take me years to pay that off. So I'm curious about that too. As far as I know, there's no language about that in the bill, because of course there's not. So I don't know. we're
I
going
would
to see very
love.
soon about like whether people are going to have to pay that back, whether they can, and what the government's going to do about it.
Yeah, I love this post. There was this post on Reddit from real estate investing of someone's like, please help, my tenants organized, and they're saying they won't pay this rent back. All of them. What can I do? And he just
Yeah,
goes to explain how like all 32 of his units like unified, and they said they're not gonna pay rent. They like all
that is
fucking signed
amazing.
it. Oh
That
fuck!
is so
And
fucking
that just
amazing.
brings a smile to my fucking face,
It
dude.
seriously does, dude. Honestly, like after reading
Fuck! I'm
the
sending you the
fact that
post.
I wasn't getting the stimulus check, like I swear to God, so many like emotions went through my head. I was like I went from like borderline socialist lib to like fucking
Dude,
Maoist in about 5 minutes.
he jumped right up on that fucking political compass, dude.
Seriously, man. Like I am so upset about that. And I'm here, there's just so many unanswered questions that I have about like the economic crisis that we're about to face. Like in terms of, I think rent is the scariest part because like in theory, like the government could just pay all of these landlords. But my question is why? Why would we do that? Like if a landlord is subsisting off of our rent payments, like that is literally the definition of a fucking parasite in the economy. Someone whose sole source of income is the properties that they own. Like those people should not be fucking allowed to exist in our
Right?
society. So
They add
my question is
nothing.
like,
There's no gain.
exactly. They don't provide a service. Their only service is the capital that they have access to. And often that's not through any like means of their own. Like they are often born into that wealth. And even if they're not, what right do they have to extract my excess labor from me? I don't think they have any right. Obviously, we don't have to go into fucking political theory about owning land. I don't want to get into that. But my question is though, is could we use this crisis as a justification to remove the owning class from this country? And I'm starting to think more and more that that might actually be possible during a time like this. What do you think about that? Like, do you think
Yeah.
average people would go for that?
I mean, I feel like, during this crisis, people are finally fucking waking up and like noticing that we fucking live in an oligarchy and that like that shit is not fucking good for the average man. And that
Yeah.
I'm sad that it took a fucking pandemic for them to fucking finally realize.
Yeah, for sure. And like I think that post, I saw a Twitter post too of someone saying like basically we live in a country of paycheck to paycheck workers paying rent to paycheck landlords who work at like paycheck to paycheck companies. And I'm like it made me like that is a great observation. I mean, obviously people like us, we already know that. Like this is part of our fucking theory. This is
Yeah,
why we're socialists.
I wonder what happens in like next like in the next 2 months when like this is still a problem and like people are like don't have like they still don't have any fucking money. Like
Yeah.
right, like they have no money to afford food.
Right.
Then you fucking
Like
that's
what
when
bills do you not pay in this situation? Like if you
right.
had to choose, like do you pay your rent and don't buy food? Do you buy food but miss your rent payment? Do you let your lights turn off but make sure you have clean water? Like what choices do you make in this situation of what to buy? And then when your money runs out completely, then what? What do people do then? And where's the government in all of this, you know?
Yeah. Like the government's like at our time of need, the government's supposed to be here for us, and like they're not even here for us.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. And I feel like the fact like it would be so simple. And can we also talk about too like how easy it would be for Trump to use this crisis to basically win so much political clout. Like
right,
if he were to just
he could easily win the next election based off
yeah,
how well he handles this.
exactly. That is so true. And like and also the fact that this pandemic is most likely not going to be over by November even according to like the most recent projections that scientists have been making. It's not even going to be over by then. So like if he were to like spearhead some bill and like sign it that said like all Americans receive a universal income like basic income of like $2,000 a month or whatever, he would instantly win all 50 states. Like it would be over with. I don't understand why would he not do that.
Dude, like I wonder like what happens like when like November comes and it's finally settled down. What, are you just gonna take it away from the people?
Yeah, that is another really good point actually. You know, it's often said that welfare is really hard or it's really easy to give to people, but it's really hard to take it away. And I think that actually is a really important point because once people start to feel the benefits of what their government can do for them, they start to realize like,
Why
well,
the fuck
my
haven't I
life
had this shit?
exactly,
Like,
exactly. They're
since
like,
the
my life is
beginning.
10 times better now, and it doesn't seem like anything has changed for the worse. So why the fuck weren't we doing this in the first place?
Yeah, fuck.
So fucking true, man.
That's probably what they're most scared about, dude.
Yeah, that's probably why they're being so careful about it, is because they
Yeah.
know if they show their power level of the things that they actually could do
Yeah.
for us,
Yeah.
then people would realize how much of an advantage we're being taken of.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. And I feel like
Unbelievable.
that brings us to like something that's a little more recent. Like Trump is haggling for fucking ventilators, dude.
God,
Like
unbelievable.
like he literally
Yeah.
he's like, no, I don't think we need that many ventilators. Like this
Yeah.
man's actually haggling. Like when fucking places like Detroit, they're like running out of fucking supplies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, think about it this way. All he has done in his entire life is have money and buy things and sell things. That's all he knows how to do. That's literally it. Like, every time anything comes on his desk where he has to, like, make a decision or
Make a
haggle for
trade
a
deal.
price or something. Yeah, like, he probably gets a fucking boner. That's the only time his dick ever
He's
gets
like,
hard
finally
anymore.
something I know.
Exactly. And he has to, like, he has to get his servant to read it for him, but then he tries to make the best trade deal. But yeah, I mean, that brings me to something that I recently read in Detroit. There's a hospital that is handing out memos to people that come into the waiting room or the emergency room, basically saying like, we don't have the supplies to care for everyone. So if you have really bad symptoms, or if one of your family members has really bad symptoms and we think that they're going to die, we're going to let them die. Like, we have no choice. And obviously, like, it's a contentious topic because I saw a lot of people on the internet like saying that's so fucked up. Like, how could the hospital do that? But you have to understand, it's not the hospital making this choice. They have a lack of supplies because of the failure of our government. Like, this idea of triage, where you determine like which patient is most likely to survive, which patient needs the most care right away.
Yeah.
It's a thing that happens every day, and it's a sad reality of the world that we live in. But the truth of the matter is this doesn't have to be a reality. Like, the government is actively choosing not to provide the supplies necessary to save people's lives, and they're letting them die. And it's unbelievable. I cannot believe it. When I saw that news story that you're talking about with Trump haggling the 40% or the 40,000 ventilators or whatever, I instantly thought of that memo, and I just thought, I imagined myself sitting in the waiting room, like where with my mom or my grandma in the hospital bed, having a doctor come and tell me like, we're going to remove the ventilator from them because we feel like someone else could use it, and we're going to let them die. Like,
That is fucking crazy.
I have no idea what I would do in that situation. Like, the amount of rage that I would feel at that moment is just, it's uncomparable to anything else. I cannot believe that this is being allowed to
These
happen.
deaths are on our government.
Yes, absolutely. 100% preventable deaths. It's true that some people were going to die to this disease no matter what. That is just a truth of the world. People die to diseases. It happens every year. It's sad. It sucks, but it happens. But these people that have died because of a lack of logistic fucking like application of our resources in this country have died for no reason. Their lives were thrown away at the hands of a fucking fascist government.
Going into, like, I guess Coronanews still, I want to say that, you know, we fucking predicted this shit was going to happen. Texas banning abortions during this pandemic.
God.
Like, the Attorney General, Ken Paxton, ordered a ban on abortions in the state unless the life of the mother is threatened. And he said that abortion does not qualify for essential care.
Exactly. They're saying that it's a non-essential thing. Like things like plastic surgery, things like, you know, like cosmetic surgeries, like what is it called? LASIK, things like that. Like, all of those surgeries got canceled. So the Attorney General used that as justification to say, well, if we can cancel these surgeries, then also we can cancel abortion, because that is I guess it's an elective fucking surgery,
God,
a cosmetic
I
surgery.
just don't understand, like, the boner these fucking old men get, like, when they fucking, like, have power over the people and, like, ban abortion and shit. Because, like, they try, like, every fucking year, like, we're gonna ban abortion, we're gonna get rid of it this year. Fuck, like, these southern states, like, just want to fucking, like, I don't know, they just want this control over women for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, and I heard a really good take on that too, and I think it's because that the southern states know that the Supreme Court has a conservative majority right now because of the addition of Kavanaugh and that other conservative dipshit that Trump put in. Um, so they think, like, I think that the reason that they're passing a lot of these bills is because they want to be the state that goes to the Supreme Court and wins. Basically, like they want their state, like Mississippi versus the United States or whatever, or versus Jones
Yeah,
or
a
whatever.
fucking
Like,
abortion.
yeah, they
Yeah,
want their
fuck.
state to be the new fucking Roe v. Wade of the U.S. And I mean, like, it's nakedly obvious. And like we were talking about in the last episode, they use pandemics and like natural disasters like this to pass right wing shit like that every time, every fucking time. And it's such an established pattern at this point that it really should not surprise you.
Right,
But
and
it
I
is
feel like it's not
awful.
even getting even talked about since, like, Corona's going on. It's just being brushed under the wayside.
Exactly. Yeah, that is the benefit of these natural disasters. Is like the
They
people are
fucking
so
cloak all the
caught up.
fucking bad activities.
Exactly. Yeah. And like you brought up another thing before we started recording too about the environmental regulations. Like
Oh yeah.
they didn't say, like, they're not getting rid of the laws about environmental protection. Basically, the EPA like has certain regulations about what companies can do, like dumping and like proper disposal and emissions and stuff like that. Well, basically, this administration has said like that's still illegal, but we're not going to enforce it during this pandemic because we need these resources elsewhere. Which, I mean, you could argue that is true. They need the resources elsewhere, but rather than appoint more money, like pass a spending bill to help with it, they just decided to fucking reappropriate the environmental protection like resources that we have. So
Yeah.
they're sacrificing our environment for no reason when they don't need to. They're just doing it because they want to. It's a
Right.
choice. And
But like,
oftentimes you'll hear
fuck.
like they have no choice, but that is just not true. They can choose tomorrow if they wanted to pass a law that abolishes anything they want, as long as it's within the Constitution, I suppose. But even then, during like with this Supreme Court, they could
That's
probably do
gonna fucking
something
stop them.
outside of it. Exactly. So it's like when they do things and they say they don't have a choice, they're fucking lying. They have a choice.
I mean,
What do you think about the people that are like getting arrested for coughing and fucking like did you see the video of the guy like licking everything in the fucking Walmart?
no.
That guy, this guy basically posted on Twitter himself being like, "Yo, who give a fuck about Corona?" And then he just goes and like licks
No
everything.
fucking
Yeah,
way, dude.
he got
That's
arrested.
fucking disgusting. That reminds me of that one girl who fucking licked the airplane fucking toilet seat, dude.
Oh, dude, Corona challenge. That's so fucking stupid, man. Yeah, and then there's another
this
woman
kid's
who
nasty.
coughed on $35,000. I'm reading from NBC right now. Woman who coughed on $35,000 worth of grocery store food, charged with 4 felonies. So she basically just went in and like just went to the
coughed
produce
on
section
everything?
and just fucking all over the produce.
What the fuck?
And the store threw it all away and like deep cleaned everything.
What the fuck? Did she have fucking Corona or?
I'm not sure, but she said it was just a prank. So
just
she
a
said it
fucking
was a prank.
prank.
She unironically said that. She said it was just a prank.
Fucking prank.
Fucking hilarious,
Oh
man.
fuck. Did you see Britney Spears fucking like tweeting out fucking like Maoist shit? And like
No, what
communist
did he
shit on
say?
Instagram. Britney Spears. It's funny. I think
Oh yeah, Britney Spears. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I thought you said Bernie Sanders.
No, Britney Spears, yeah. I think
Yeah,
it's
she's
just
like-
fucking funny. I don't even know if
She-
it's like real or not. Just like
No, it's real.
Fucking Britney Spears just going off.
That's the thing though, like it makes sense when you think about it. Like society like shit all over her at like had her worst points. And even though she was wealthy, she never like she didn't get to enjoy it like some wealthy people do because of the pressure that she felt from society. It's like when you first think about it, you're like Britney Spears, like a Maoist, that's fucking weird. But then if you really think about it, it's not that weird. Like
Yeah.
it makes sense. But I did see that. That's very interesting. It's interesting to me seeing a lot of like celebrities come out like
Going
in
out,
support.
like,
Yeah, in support
like
of these like borderline communist policies and ideas. But then like if they had to self-identify themselves, they would be like blue no matter who Democrats. I'm like, why? Fucking why?
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I want to touch on this before we forget about it. Boris Johnson tested for positive for COVID-19.
Oh no,
Yeah.
Boris.
Like this
No.
is like some of the big shit we were talking about like maybe 2 episodes ago. Like I wonder who like someone who like super big might get it and like might
Yeah.
pass away. Like Boris Johnson. I mean, he doesn't look like he may be the healthiest man
He's
I've
not
ever
that old
seen.
though. I
He's
heard from
55
him.
years old.
Yeah, I heard from him that he had mild symptoms, but I feel like a lot of like politicians are lying about it. Like I feel like Trump probably had it at some point and didn't say anything, or maybe he has it now. I don't know. I feel like Biden had it, and like
Dude,
inshallah he survived it.
does this fucking guy like fucking ruffles his hair before like going
Yes.
into the public? Does he like fucking like, all right, gotta make my hair look fucking crazy?
Yeah, no,
Like, there's
he
no
did.
way.
He does. We've talked about this on the pod actually in one of our first episodes. I mentioned this. Like he has said in an interview publicly that he will ruffle his hair before he goes on camera to make himself look more relatable. He is a fucking sociopath.
So fucking weird.
He sits in his fucking car and just like fucking ruffles his hair and then walks out to look like a fucking clown so people don't take him seriously when he passes like right-wing shit.
When he passes
It's so
fucking
stupid.
slavery.
He's like, oops, the fucking DHS is gone. Oopsie, I pressed the wrong button. Did I do that?
And they're like, Boris, you
Oh,
silly man.
He's so cute.
Fuck,
Man, it's so funny.
Band's
Yeah,
gay
so
marriage. Oopsie.
I like this tweet that Sean said, basically saying, "I hope Boris Johnson's sickness comes to an end quickly." I agree with that statement. I think that I hope that it's over quickly for him. Let's just put it that way. And I hope that Jair Bolsonaro also makes a very quick turnover on that disease because I think he definitely has it, even though he denied it. And also our president denied it, saying like, well, Bolsonaro said he doesn't have it, so he doesn't have it. I'm like, are you fucking okay, whatever.
God, that clip is so fucking funny of like that woman saying, I had a light fever, and then over the weekend, and then Trump's like, oh no, and he fucking books it, dude. You saw that clip, right?
I saw people online saying, you're really gonna jump down his throat because he's making a silly joke. I'm like, that's the thing. I don't know if it's a fucking joke.
I don't know if he was joking or if he's like, if it was real, but yeah, nevertheless, that was fucking hilarious. And maybe he does deserve another 4 years. Just off
True,
that.
Dude. I can't wait to vote for him.
Honestly, we probably are fucking right wingers, dude. Fuck, horseshoe theory.
Horseshoe theory, yeah. You're right. Okay, this is some New York news. Have you heard of Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, or the mayor of New York City?
No.
Or no, sorry, he's the governor. Mayor was Bloomberg.
No.
But Cuomo, like, a lot of people are saying that he's gonna run for president.
Is this a senator guy? Wait, no, I thought I saw.
No, he's the governor of New York. He's the guy who's recently been in the news, basically, like,
is he trying to
Trump,
take someone else's spot? I thought he was trying to take a Nancy Pelosi spot, or is that someone else?
No, I think that's someone else. This guy basically has been in the news recently saying, like, Trump is mishandling all this corona shit, and a lot of libs are, like, slurping it up, dude. They love it so much. I mean, Cuomo is a fucking corporatist Dem, just like the rest of them. So I can't wait to vote for him in 2024 after Joe Biden dies in office. Dude, that'll be cool.
Was it you who said like there was some shit where like Joe Biden like was gonna just give it to his VP like shortly after he gets into office or something like that? It probably wasn't fucking real, but I heard it from someone in one of our Discord chats.
I don't think that was me, but I think that there actually is something to that. I think that the DNC, like, I don't think that he's gonna become president and then give it to the vice president. I think what could potentially happen is that if his health deteriorates in a serious way before the Democratic convention convenes, I think that the DNC may just give it to someone else, but it wouldn't be Bernie though. It would be someone else like Pete or like someone like that,
Not the fucking people don't want Trump, but they also don't want Bernie, and they're like Biden's just like sitting here, he's like, well, I guess I'll take it.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Fuck. He says like, yeah, I don't think there should be any more debates. Like debate.
Dude, that's
it's
so
over.
Funny.
Let's just get it over with. Let's just crown me president.
It's funny that he knows and his campaign knows that every time he gets in front of a camera, his vote, like the percentage of people voting for him goes down a little bit. Like every
Oh
time, they
fuck.
know that. It's crazy. Like how can you have so little faith in a candidate and still like work for them and work with them? It's so absurd.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Um,
understand.
but if you wanted to though, talk more about Joe Biden. How about this fucking news story that came out just a couple of days ago about basically him
Oh
being
my god,
accused
yeah.
of raping someone? Have you heard about this?
Yes, I have. It's been fucking blowing up on Twitter.
Yeah, so this is pretty fresh news, but there's this woman named, I believe her name is Tara Reid, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
I could be
that's
wrong about
correct.
that. But she has basically come out publicly and accused Joe Biden of raping her, sexually assaulting, or actually, it
Yes.
is rape. I mean, he literally, like,
Put her
I don't know
fingers
if I should,
inside of her.
yeah, I don't know if it's like bad taste to say what he did, but I'm just gonna do it anyway,
I
and
mean,
I'm sorry if
that's her
it's
own
wrong.
words.
Yeah, but in her own words, basically, he like pushed her up against a wall and like forcefully penetrated her with his hands, and like and basically told her like, "You're nothing to me. You're garbage. Like you're less than
Yeah.
nothing." Something like that. And like, it's very interesting because so on this show we've talked about the Me Too movement a little bit. Do you remember that
Yeah. Yeah. In
conversation?
episode 9,
Yeah, and
Iran, Trump, and women.
yeah, that's true. And like we've talked about false accusations in the past. Basically, I think we both agreed that like false accusations are a reality of life, and that is just the like it's true
Yeah.
of every crime, every person, whether you're male or female or some other identification, doesn't matter. That is just a truth of life. But I find it interesting that the Democrats and libs basically saying like in terms of the Kavanaugh hearings and the even you could even go back as far as like the 90s during the Anita Hill shit going on. Like people on the left or the libs, center left people, they want to say like believe women. Of course, believe women.
Yes.
Like we have to. But then the second a woman accuses Joe Biden of fucking rape, a heinous rape, by the way. This is not just like some light shoulder touching, like, oh, he's an
True.
old
Like, this
man, you
is
can
like
brush it
fucked
off.
up. Like,
Yeah, this is
you were
the
nothing to
kind
me. Like, you were
exactly like this
nothing.
is the kind of crime that you go
Yeah.
to prison
Fuck.
for life for. And like, I don't know, like just given
Is
his
Joe gonna get
history
away
of
with it?
being exactly, that's my question is like, is he gonna be able to get away with it?
Yeah. Which
He
is
has been
funny.
accused by
Yeah. Go.
7 women of sexual misconduct. None of them have ever accused him of rape, like in the traditional sense. Like we said in episode 9, I like to use the word rape to describe violent, forceful sex with another person, whereas I like to use the word sexual assault for like, I don't want to use the word lighter because they're both wrong, but less violent physical sexual assaults. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
7 women have
Tiered.
accused Biden of sexual assault, but this is the first woman to come forward publicly and accuse him of actual rape. And
Yeah.
she has been silenced in the media. What have you thought about this story going on recently?
I mean, I think it's funny that Biden, he recently said that, for women's claims of sexual assault, always believe her. And now that this is going on, like, is he going to go back on these claims? Like, what are Biden supporters, thinking of Biden right now?
Yeah.
I'm wondering that. But, fuck it, dude. Like, this is something that definitely needs to get looked into. And hopefully, like, people will open their eyes that fucking, like, there is another choice other than fucking Biden.
Absolutely. And like it has been kind of like, I don't know, I don't like using the word funny because it's such a serious accusation, but like I agree, it has been
fucking
funny
weird
to see Biden's campaign do this fucking jig, basically trying to like bounce between what they've said previously, which is like you said, believe women, of course, like until it's proven, until like we've heard her side of the story, we have to just assume that she's telling the truth because it would be wrong otherwise. It's funny that they said that recently, but then today they released a statement saying, of course we should listen to her, but she's lying. Like, what the fuck? They're basically saying, like, they're basically denying the allegations. Of course, man, they're not going to be like, oh, yeah, you got us. Like, he raped her. Of course, they're not going to say that.
We're dropping out. Yeah, fuck.
Exactly. But there's this weird cognitive dissonance where they're like, yeah, we want to believe women, but just not this woman. Yeah. And I wanted to talk another thing, too, about, have you seen her connections with Russia? Like,
no, I haven't
brought up
actually
online.
I haven't actually done like deep dive into like the Tara Reid, but I've had heard of the of her claiming.
Yeah. So like basically she made some tweets in the past, like I don't know if it was years or months ago or whatever, where basically one, she supports Bernie Sanders, or well, actually first she supported Elizabeth Warren in the nomination, but then when she dropped out, Tara tweeted her support for Bernie Sanders, and then in the past before that, she has tweeted basically saying like, I don't know why Americans are so critical of Putin. Like Putin is literally better than our country right now, and like whether or not you agree with that statement doesn't matter. I just want to bring it up because it is something that she has said in the past. The interesting thing about that though is that libs are using that as justification for not believing her, basically saying like, oh look, she's a fan of Russia, like she must be falsely accusing Biden, as if
Just
fucking
to
even if
help
you
Bernie.
were a fan of Russia, somehow that makes you immune to fucking rape. Somehow, like
Yeah,
if
what
I'm
the
if I'm a
fuck?
fan of Putin, suddenly my vagina just like closes up and I can't be raped anymore. Like it's absurd.
Yeah.
And on top of that, um, she worked for Biden. Like this is how she was able to be in such close contact with him. She worked with him in the past, and that is when he allegedly raped her. And now, of course, we don't know if it's true. We will probably never know if it's true.
Yeah.
But the fact that liberals are using her connection with Russia as well as her support of Bernie Sanders as justification to silence her and not believe her is all of the evidence that you need to know that this whole fucking media circus about believing women is totally a fucking facade, and they will drop it in an instant if it's politically expedient for them to do so. They do not believe women. They believe women when it's politically convenient for them to believe women and never otherwise. And you really, really need to believe
Mm.
that. And I'm not telling you to believe Tara's story. I don't know if I believe it. I don't really care one way or the other. I care that women are getting raped. I don't want women to get raped. But like it's, in terms of this particular thing, I was never going to vote for Biden anyway. I don't care that he's a I don't like the reason that I'm voting for him is not because he's a, or the reason I'm not voting for him is not because he's a rapist, although that is a good reason not to vote for someone. Um, but in terms of this specific story, I'm not asking you to believe it. I'm asking you to ask yourself this question. If someone supports someone who I disagree with, does that mean that they're immune to rape? Does that mean that any story that they're trying to tell me about sexual assault is automatically false?
Mm.
And if I believe that, am I okay with that fucking characterization of sexual assault? Am I okay with characterizing women as in this way? Am I comfortable with that? And if you are, have fun voting for Joe. That's all I can say.
I wonder. What do you think? Like, what if this claim? What if there was a similar claim like this, but it was against Bernie?
I genuinely don't know. I don't think that Bernie would like. I don't think that there have been credible evidence in the past for Bernie to like be accused of rape. But here's the thing though, is like you don't necessarily have evidence. And that's the
Yeah.
interesting part about this Me Too shit is like it is true that anyone can accuse anyone. That's true about any crime though. And the thing is like the amount of work necessary to craft a false story to
Like, yeah,
like
it's
try to
basically really easy to discredit someone, like if they're
yes.
lying.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. That's such an important point. Is like if you want to make sure that your story is airtight, especially if it's something that allegedly happened like 20 plus years ago, it's so difficult because there's so many extra factors that you're not able to really take into consideration to craft a false story that is airtight is nearly impossible. And the fact that we almost never see it is great evidence that it doesn't really happen. I mean, it is true that sometimes people falsely accuse people, and I will be the first person to say that's wrong. Of course, that's fucking obviously wrong. But like that is just a consequence of women gaining more power in society. In the past, women had so little power that whether or not they were telling the truth didn't matter because even if
No
they
one
were
fucking
raped and
believed
there was
them.
evidence, no one cared. But now
Yeah.
the problem is like women are starting to come forward with allegations where in the past they felt like they didn't have the power or the clout, so to
Yeah.
speak, to like come forward and say. And then a lot of libs will say, well, if you really got raped in 1993 or 1990 whatever, why wouldn't you come forward then? If you say that, your brain is fucking damaged. Like if you don't like, that's the whole point of the Me Too movement, is that by coming forward, by basically organizing with a group of women who have all been sexually assaulted or raped in some way, you gain the power through numbers to stand up for yourself against a male-dominated world. And that is why women oftentimes don't come forward. It's because men don't let them. The men in power don't let them, and they like it that way. People like Joe Biden. They actively keep women from coming forward with their allegations, which is why I talked about Anita Hill. I don't know if you're familiar with this person, but
No.
when I believe it was, I want to say Clarence Thomas was the Supreme Court nominee. I want to say, but I'm not 100% sure. But basically, when he was being nominated to the Supreme Court, just like Kavanaugh, he was accused of sexual assault. And this woman called Anita Hill came before Congress and testified. And Joe Biden was there. And basically, what he said to Anita is, if you were raped, you should have come forward right away. He accused her of using this to gain like political power. Accused her of falsely accusing Thomas in order to gain
And this is
like
Biden?
fame and money. Yeah, Biden. This is actually
Wow.
Biden saying this. He said he accused a potential rape victim of using her sexual assault to gain fame and money. He accused her of that in public on video.
What
And
the
the fact that
fuck?
no one has talked about that is very interesting, and it really just goes to show how
Who
Dems
wants
actually
who
feel about women.
wants like who wants to be known as the person that got raped by this person? Who wants that
Exactly.
fame? Like who wants like there's no money. You're not getting any money from
Right.
like what? Are you gonna write a book about this?
Yeah, exactly. And even if they do, so who fucking cares? So what? They got fucking raped and sexually assaulted. The fact that getting raped and sexually assaulted and coming forward with it, the fact that the consequence of that is losing the privacy of your life just for the privilege of coming forward, that is already a fucking mistake. Like, these women have to sacrifice their entire way of life just to maybe get some justice. And in the case of Anita Hill, she didn't get any justice. The person still got on the Supreme Court, same as Justice Kavanaugh. They're still there to this day. Like, that person who allegedly raped her is currently in the highest judicial office in this country. Still, to this day, there are 2 rapists on the court. And I don't know. Like, if you're a Democrat or a Democratic voter, someone, if you consider yourself a blue no matter who person, like, I want to ask you, are you comfortable with that characterization of women? Are you comfortable saying, like, it's okay to discredit women based on who they support, based on how convenient I think it was for them to come forward, based on my limited knowledge of the situation? Are you okay with politicians who claim to represent you accusing victims of sexual assault of using their rape to gain wealth and fame? Are you okay with that? And then are you going to vote for them in November? Is that really what you're going to do? Is that really the kind of person that you are? I want you to ask yourself that. Anyway, I think I'm done on that.
Yeah, but no, fucking go off like this. Like, we are living probably in the fucking worst times like anyone who's still living has ever lived in. Like this, this fucking situation has never happened where like it's this bad.
Yeah, in
So, I
terms
mean,
of like economics, I totally agree. Like, I think that this whole situation is unprecedented. I think it's going to be worse than the Great Depression. And I don't think that we're actually ready for how bad it's going to get,
yeah, but
to be
like,
honest.
the only thing we can say right now, before we, finally get off this shit is that, we gotta fucking stand together, fucking unite, and, of course, fucking stay safe, don't get sick.
Yes, stay safe, don't get sick. And like I was saying at the beginning, use this crisis. It's not wrong to do this. This I feel like this is actually your obligation as a socialist. Use this crisis to agitate your fellow workers. Like, it's
Yes.
okay to do that. It's not
Rile them up.
propaganda. Exactly. It is the reality of the situation. If you can use this crisis to
Wake
bring
them up.
one person closer to like the realization that actually we need to kind of move away from this capitalist system, then that is one more person that will vote for who you want, one more person that will organize with you, one more person that will work with you in terms of your initiatives, excuse me, that you want to
Yes.
do in your local communities. So use this when you can, but also stay safe.
Yeah.
And wash your hands, you fucking animal.
Honestly, don't fucking touch your face. I know you
Yeah,
touched it
don't touch
multiple
me.
times listening to this fucking podcast. All
Yeah.
right? Absolute fucking animal. But anyway, fucking enough of all that shit. Fucking politics, fucking Corona, dude. What you been doing, during your quarantine?
Honestly, man, I'm trying to better myself. I said this at the beginning when we thought that maybe quarantine was starting to become more real, but now I've been quarantined for over a week, actually. It's been almost exactly 10 days. since
Really? You
I
haven't left your
have
house?
left. Yeah, I have not left my house in
Wow,
about 10 days.
that is fucking
And
crazy.
it's boring, I'm not gonna lie, but like trying to learn I'm trying to learn how to better myself. I think that the skill I'm focusing on right now is playing guitar. I already play, but I'm just not that good. So
Oh,
I'm
so
using
anyway,
this
here's
time
Wonderwall.
to teach myself. Yeah, I can play Wonderwall. I want to learn metal, dude. Like, you know,
Yeah, like
metal.
heavy metal,
Yeah, like death metal, like
like
fucking dark shit. Yeah,
like
like I want to get it.
fucking blah 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 blah, like fucking
Yes, exactly,
screaming.
dude.
Yeah.
You know, that's really the only reason I want to buy a house. Like, I wouldn't mind staying in an apartment really for the rest of my life. I don't mind renting at all, as long as I don't have to deal with the landlord. But the reason I want to
Oh.
get a house is so I can just have a fucking amp and like a mic and
Yeah,
just
not having
fucking
to worry
sit in
about
my
like
room and
other
jam.
neighbors. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Fuck.
Are you working on any skills, or are you just chilling during this quarantine, dude?
Just being a Twitter man.
Hell yeah, that's a skill.
Twitter, Hearthstone, watching Netflix, and of course, unfortunately, I still have to go to work.
Yeah, that sucks, man. I hope they close your shit. I mean, not that I don't want you to
Yeah, I
get money.
mean, we're
But...
essential workers. I'm essential worker apparently, and like we're the
Oh,
only place that's
really?
open. Yeah, I'm actually still going to work. I'm pretty sure tomorrow.
Wow,
Unfortunately, during this curfew, 24-hour curfew.
that's insane, man.
Oh yeah,
Well,
Before we like, Friday to bring this up, what's going on in my county? Recently, they announced in the Hillsborough County a 24-hour curfew during the weekends and a curfew at 10
what does
p.m.
that
to
mean
5 a.m. during
exactly?
the weekdays. It's basically a stay-at-home order. But like people are still wondering like, so how are they gonna force this? Like, what are they gonna do? And
So
I don't.
24 hours, does that mean you're supposed to stay home all day?
You're supposed to be at home. Yeah, only essential
Oh,
workers
okay.
are supposed to be out like working and shit.
Wow.
And like like employers are giving their workers like these papers are saying like they're allowed to be outside right now.
Oh, wow. They're giving you like papers?
Yeah, to like show the police and shit.
That's insane. It's like Papers, Please. You ever played that
Yeah.
game?
Yeah, I have
That's fucking
actually.
crazy, man.
Papers, please.
They have not done anything like that here. Like
Yeah,
a
and
lot
it's
of
all
a lot of
because our
businesses are
fucking
closing.
it's all because our fucking governor doesn't want to like issue any statewide actions.
Yeah.
Because I don't know fucking why. 'Cause I guess he wants fucking people to die. But like it's up to
Yeah.
these counties to like take up these roles to protect their communities.
Yeah. Do you know where the Villages is in Florida?
No, but I'm pretty sure it's like close.
That remember like a few weeks ago we talked about this old woman that went there and like she was like an owner of the area of some of the properties in the area and she was like shaking people's hands and like fucking spitting in their coffee and shit
Yeah.
and basically saying like I'm a handshaker. That's not nothing's gonna change that.
Oh yeah,
You know,
this
that
is
was
an
her quote.
hour. Yeah, this is an hour and 30 minutes away from me.
Yeah, that place is having an outbreak right now of coronavirus and the
Oh
average
my god.
age of people that live there is like 60 plus years old.
Oh my god. Fuck, like this like shit though. Before I like before we actually fucking stop talking about it, just start talking about stuff that we're doing inside. Fuck,
Yeah.
it's crazy though. Like this is gonna be like a lasting impact, and like we're gonna be like studying and researching, and like this shit's gonna be in your history books of
Yeah.
like how we handled it, and like the outcomes, and like how did it change society. Fuck.
I mean, we can only hope that we come out on the other side and like just at all, really, just come out on the other side. That's it. I was gonna like continue that sentence, but now I just feel like that's it. That's actually the level that I've reached. I'm like, I just hope I live. That's it.
Yeah. But yeah,
How fucking sad is that?
Yeah, but finally moving away from that. Yeah, but I've been playing, Hearthstone. Playing more Hearthstone. Getting excited for the new expansion.
Yeah, that's how you know things are bad. Like David's playing Hearthstone. That's how you fucking know things are bad.
Fuck, dude. Yeah, I fucking hate Hearthstone. It makes me so fucking angry that I just fucking lose to RNG. But yeah,
same.
watching a lot of Netflix, and Hearthstone, and
Hell yeah.
looking at our fucking angry comic sections on YouTube. Full of these fucking libs and fucking
Yeah, I loved
apparently.
I loved the Blue No Matter Who clip that we uploaded. How many people like it has so many fucking thumbs downs, dude. It's amazing.
It's like 78 downvotes.
Yeah,
20
so amazing.
upvotes.
Yeah, keep sending them our way. Just so you guys know, I know that none of the people who downvoted that video are watching this right now or listening to this, but just so you guys know, downvotes actually work the same as upvotes. It literally does nothing. All it does is make the little lightsaber a different color. It does
Yeah.
not matter. So
It's
send
actually
your
fucking
downvotes.
good, bro.
Send your downvotes to this fucking thread. I don't care.
It's good though. Yeah, that's and you know, just all that shit. That was funny though, like reading the comments though, like people being angry.
Yeah.
They can just see like there's like three types of people. I feel like there's people who like didn't watch the clip and like just fucking commented based on like the title, like going off on Blue No Matter Who. Then there's actual Blue No Matter Who Dems, and then there's like Trump supporters in the comment sections.
A lot. I was so surprised at that. There were so many Trump supporters in the comments, like saying, "You guys are so right. That's why Trump's gonna make America great, keep America great. Hell yeah, Trump 2020." I was like, "What the fuck? Why are you guys watching these videos? Like, our channel is not. You wouldn't like it."
It's funny, dude. I'm telling you, dude. Fucking shoehorn.
Yeah, shoehorn, brother.
Fucking shoehorn. I mean, fucking horseshoe.
Horseshoe. Yeah.
Fuck, same thing.
Hell yeah, it's true.
Fuck. But yeah, I'm excited for anything like movies. I'm planning to watch Parasite pretty soon. You know, after watching the platform. No, I still haven't, dude. I need to, dude. I really need to.
Such a good movie.
Yeah, but that's. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you ever keep up with like the awards for movies and other shit? Like what are they called? The Oscars, I want to say.
Like no, not really. But I've heard that Parasite got awards, right?
Yeah. Parasite won an award, and it like I was thinking to myself after I watched it, I was like, wow, this is the first movie that ever won an Oscar that I was like, you know, this movie actually really deserved it. It was so good. But then I was thinking like, what fucking movie won an Oscar? I don't know. Like I can't even name another one. You know?
Yeah.
Like who the fuck cares?
The Shape of You, I think won.
Really? Wow, that movie was terrible.
Or something like that.
It just won because Guillermo del Toro made it. Fuck that guy. I mean, he's cool actually. I like him.
But yeah, fuck. Yeah, just honestly, just trying not to stress out, playing games. Mount Blade Bannerlord is a game that actually I'm really excited for to come out. Coming out.
Oh yeah, that comes out Monday, right?
Yeah, I'm really fucking.
They
excited.
moved the date forward because of the virus.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
I'm actually super excited for that too. Do you know how much it is?
I think I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a $60 game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been working on it for like fucking 10 years, so they didn't get their fucking money's worth.
I'm very excited for that. We will definitely be playing
Animal Crossing. Fuck yes, Animal Crossing New Horizons. That's been my shit for like since it launched, basically. You know, it's like a super fucking chill game, to be honest. Like, you know, like 5 o'clock hits, you know, and then I hop on Animal Crossing, do my shit, and then get off. And like, you know, just, you know, it's a nice game to just play daily, you know, for a little bit.
Yeah, I love it. I love peaceful games like Animal Crossing. You know, I was gonna use my $1,200 stimulus check to buy a fucking Switch, but I guess that's not happening anymore. Yeah, so sad.
Fuck. But yeah, I mean, other than that, man, just fucking vibing.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, I have a thing that we could talk about.
Yeah.
That could bring a smile to your face, man, and it's called our weekly philosophy question.
Yes.
What do you think?
Oh yes. So what I wanted to talk about is, you know, something we've talked about already on this episode. You know, the triage in the hospitals, right? On how we have to, you know, doctors are basically having to choose who gets to live, who gets to die. Yeah. And I'm just wondering, like, how would you feel if you were the doctor in this situation and you, like, basically have to, like, make this choice? And how would you evaluate? Do you think they have a system, like, on, like, if this person's older, they're, like, they don't get it, or if this person's younger, they should get it? Like, who gets it? Like, yeah. God, like, what would you do, first of all?
Well, if I were a doctor and like let's say I was a doctor right now in this situation, like I would probably kill myself, no joke, because like the mental anguish that these people are having to go through, like having to choose, it's not something that never happens. Like this happens in real life too, in times of not pandemic times, you know, regular
like war times.
Like sometimes there's like a mass shooting or something, and like they're overloaded with patients and they have to decide who to treat first and how much resources to devote. Like it's called triage. It's a normal thing. But the thing is like this situation is a little bit different because in a regular like event, when you're doing triage, you're deciding who to help the quickest and who can wait and things like that. You're not just letting people die, really. But in this case, it's like you're literally letting people die because you have to choose. Like, you're like, okay, maybe this person has a 50% chance of survival if I used, 5 personnel with a ventilator on 24/7, and even with all of that resource, they still have a 50% chance of survival. And then you look at a little kid and you're like, this kid's pretty bad, but if I give him a ventilator and I assign the same amount of personnel, he has a 90% chance of survival. And these people, they're actually being forced to make the decision, like, okay, we're gonna let this person with the 50%, we're gonna let them die because we know with pretty good certainty that we can save this kid, but we're not sure that we can save this other person, so we're gonna let them die. Like, imagine being in that situation as a doctor. Just imagine having to make that decision and keeping yourself up at night wondering if you had just split the resources, maybe you could have saved them both. If you just tried a little harder or done something a little bit different, give them a different drug or just something, just anything, maybe you could have saved them. Like, I cannot imagine the emotion that these people are feeling, and honestly, like, it makes me upset just to think about it. What would you do in that situation?
I mean, obviously, like, just try to save who I can with the resources I have. And like that's all I can really hope for. I wonder the psychological damage that that will come from this when this is hopefully finally blows over, right? One day, this finally blows over. The psychological damage of families across the country, losing their grandparents, losing family members, losing friends, and the doctors as well. Like, what is that going to do to us?
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of like 911 call operators, like. Like during 9/11, for example, they would get calls from people that were like trapped in the building, and like they would literally be on the phone with someone like while they were dying. Yeah. And like, just imagine that, like the anguish you feel, like you're on the phone with someone.
You can't do anything about it.
That you can't help them, and like you're talking to them knowing that they're gonna die.
Like, these are our last words.
Yeah, and like I know for a fact that some of those people have PTSD from that scenario, and I would not be surprised in the slightest if a lot of healthcare professionals are gonna have to face the same issues, PTSD, long-term mental damage from what they're going through right now, having to make these decisions.
Everyone's stressed out right now, like everybody. All over the world is stressed.
And I mean, like, I think I agree with you. Like, if it were me, obviously as a doctor, like, I would have a lot of knowledge. I would be able to try to figure out who has the best chance of survival. And I hope that I would do everything in my power to save as many people as humanly possible. But like, just having to entertain the idea of letting someone die, just sitting here in my computer chair in my fucking underwear, just thinking about having to choose between two people, just that, like, it makes me fucking want to cry. Just thinking about it. I have no idea what they're going through right now, and it makes me so upset.
But yeah, I mean, that is fucking the world we live in currently.
Yeah.
And, all we can hope is to stay strong through these trying times.
Yeah.
And
fuck thinking a troop. Think a nurse. Think a doctor. Especially nurses and stuff. These like
True.
These low level.
That reminds me of like fucking like the Just Boot things. There's a post on that subreddit of like I would never send someone to like, what's it called? Basically, like, risk their life for someone else or something like that. And then it was like a picture of a soldier, right? I just thought that was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So stupid.
Like, war is not something we have to fucking go to.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, that's the philosophy of the week. Like, fuck yeah, it's a fucked up thing to do, but it's a necessary thing that has to happen, unfortunately. Living in fucking the system, right?
Yep, just never forget that they did this to us. Like, this did not happen.
The government is killing the citizens, our fellow people, our citizens, right?
Yep.
I mean
through inaction, they are responsible for these deaths.
Yes, like, don't forget this. Like, do not fucking forget this shit. Don't pay rent. That's all. That's what I'm gonna end on. Fuck, dude. Don't fucking pay rent. That's what I'm ending on.
Don't pay rent. 3 million dead landlords.
Fuck, but yeah. I mean, I feel like that's it, right? I have nothing else.
Thank
to
our
say.
Patreons.
Oh yeah, our Patreons. I want to thank Peyton, Grunt980, and Zachary for pledging to our Patreon this month.
Yeah, we got a
really
new patron. So excited.
3. Fuck, dude, we've been waiting for this day for like ever. Like, man, I can't wait for that 3rd patron, dude. You know, I personally cranked out a bottle of champagne. You know, poured myself a glass. You know,
dude. Ever since isolation, I've been hard on that fucking wine.
Like, yeah, I know, dude.
Like
fucking
every other day, bro.
How's the stockpile going?
Honestly, we're running low, dude.
We're running low on supplies like 10 already.
Days. Drinking like a bottle of wine every 2 days ish.
Shit, dude.
But we'll get through it.
But yeah, thank you for the continued support, and we hope that you continue to support our podcast till its death.
Hell yeah.
But yes, thank you for listening to episode 20 of the Left in the South podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.